Hi, I'm Michelle. This is my co-host Bella. Welcome to the Bunny Dojo. Some extremely exciting news came out at the end of 2020 that gives us the perfect opportunity to revisit one of our favorite movies, Zootopia. No, I'm going to not tell them. Are you going to? Let's get started.
First, we need to acknowledge the elephant in the room. Francine, happy birthday. Number two.
So, Zootopia is a wonderful 2016 Walt Disney animated movie starring Jennifer Goodwin and Jason Bateman. You may be familiar with Jennifer Goodwin from Once Upon a Time, the fantastic TV show. She played Snow White. Jason Bateman is known for many things recently, Ozark and Arrested Development. He's directed and starred in episodes of the Stephen King series The Outsider, which I highly recommend for if you're an adult. And yes, not you, Bella. Sorry. Too scary for you. Jason Bateman, and I remember from Little House on the Prairie, he played James when he was a kid, and I was a kid. The movie won multiple Academy Awards, very deservedly so. The story is more adult than you would expect, and I'll talk about the themes later on, but it's got a very complex story that's very engaging, very funny, very moving and emotional. The characters are extremely well developed. Each has a character arc that I will talk about, and with wonderful performances. It's the story of a young rabbit named Judy Hopps who moves to the big city of Zootopia, where all animals of different species live in harmony, supposedly. She dreams of becoming the first rabbit police officer, and she runs into difficulty. She's assigned to parking duty at first, but she soon, because she's plucky and determined, finds herself in the middle of a big case. She has to work with Nick Wilde, who is a very funny petty thief, fox. And through the movie, they develop a mutual respect and deep friendship. The visuals are fantastic. It was originally in 3D animation. They developed particular software. Yeah, the fur. They've developed particular special software in order to make the fur look more realistic. They had a program called Shader that they developed in order to make the light go through the fur and make it look more realistic. The cinematographer and animators went to Disney Animal Kingdom and Africa to actually observe animals so they could get things right. Like, again, the fur, they were able to, pick out the fact that, a fox's fur starts out dark and ends up lighter. They learned about animal behavior, like the fact that bunnies binky. Right, Bella? Do you want to demonstrate binkying? No? Not right now? Okay. We'll have to insert a clip of you binkying, baby. The music is by Michael Giacchino. Yeah, Star Trek. Who did the reboot of Star Trek, which is amazing, as well as TV shows like Lost, because he worked with J.J. Abrams, but he does a fantastic score. And of course, Shakira plays the gazelle, and she does a beautiful job with the song Try Everything, which is so appropriate for the theme of the movie. The plot is excellent. The opening scene is a play where the young Judy is performing in, and she does a dramatic death scene. This comes up later on at the end of the movie. The blueberries are introduced earlier, and then they become very important. So the plot itself is very well crafted and thought out. What did you think about it, Bella? Yeah, I know. She thought it agreed with me that there was a bit of a stereotype with carrots. Did you think the carrots were a stereotype? Yeah, I thought so too. I kind of wish they weren't carrot farmers, because if you're a bunny owner, you know that carrots are only a treat and they shouldn't be a main meal. They have sugar in them. Unfortunately, Bugs Bunny made everybody think that they lived on carrots. But I do think I did like a lot of the points, like her using the carrot pen as a recorder. I thought that was really adorable. If I had to nitpick on one line, it would be when Clawhauser, which is another really funny character, calls her cute, and she says, other bunnies can say that to each other, but not other animals. I thought that line fell flat. Didn't you, Bella? Yeah, because bunnies aren't cute. And I don't think that she's insulted at all if I call her cute. Right, baby?
Can I pay you back?
Oh, no. My treat. It's just, it burns me up to see folks with such backward attitudes toward foxes. I just want to say you're a great dad and just a real articulate fella.
Oh, well, that is high praise. It's rare that I find someone so non-patronizing. Officer...
Hops. Mr...
Wild. Nick Wilde.
So there's some really important themes that go along with the movie, and the first has to do with Judy's character arc and how she realizes that even though she's very enlightened and optimistic, she has to face the fact that she herself has some implicit bias. And I would direct you to go to this wonderful YouTube channel, Cinema Therapy. I'll put the link below. It does an excellent job of explaining this theme in the movie. Basically, it boils down to the fact that if you understand that everybody's the same underneath, that we're all the same, you fail to recognize the differences. You fail to appreciate the uniqueness of other people, and you fail to understand, empathize, and help other people if they need it. Judy learns from her parents that foxes are dangerous and that she should be wary of them, and she gets fox spray from them, and she carries it with her. When she first sees Nick, she immediately thinks that he's up to no good because he is a fox. It's not until she enters the store and overhears him encountering obvious bias, where the elephant is turning him away because he's not an elephant.
You want the red or the blue, pal?
Oh, come on, kid, back up. Listen, buddy, what? There aren't any Fox ice cream joints in your part of town?
No, there are. It's just, my boy, this goofy little stinker, he loves all things elephant, wants to be one when he grows up. Is that adorable? Oh. Who the heck am I to crush his little dreams, huh?
So Judy recognizes that obvious bias and empathizes because she knows that we are all the same, and she stands up for Nick at that point.
Excuse me.
Hey, you're gonna have to wait your turn like everyone else, meter maid.
Actually, I'm an officer. Just had a quick question. Are your customers aware they're getting snot and mucus with their cookies and cream?
But later on, when she's having a press conference, she says that maybe it's only predators because it's in their biology. And this is something, again, that she learned from her parents, overheard from her parents. It doesn't see it as being biased. She doesn't see it or mean it as being biased. And when Nick is offended, she's very surprised by the fact that he's offended, and she feels terrible. And this goes on where her character develops when she learns that now there's a lot of crimes against predators because of this news. She has this really heartbreaking scene, and Jennifer Goodwin does such an amazing job acting. It always makes me cry when she goes to Chief Bogo and resigns, and she says that I wanted to make the world a better place, but I think I broke it. And he tells her, it was already broken, don't give yourself too much credit. But it was at that point where she realizes that what she did was wrong. And then later on, she finds out that the flowers are, something that causes prey to also become crazy, and that doesn't have to do with the fact that they're predators. And she goes and she apologizes to Nick, and it's a really beautifully done full character arc. There's also the metaphor of the American dream, the fact that Metropolis is supposed to be this wonderful place where all animals get along and anybody can achieve anything if they work hard enough.
And you, little guy, you want to be an elephant when you grow up? You be an elephant. Because this is Zootopia. Anyone can be anything.
And just like what we believe about America. And of course, Judy finds out that this isn't true. She comes into obstacles right away where she, even though she was the top of her class and she's a police officer, she's assigned parking duty because she's a rabbit and given a very hard time.
All right, look. Everyone comes to Zootopia thinking they can be anything they want. Well, you can't. You can only be what you are. Sly Fox, Dumb Bunny.
Nick's character arc has more to do with the fact that he believes what society says about him. And then through his friendship with Judy, and he's inspired by her, that he realized that he can be the person he really wants to be. He goes into a story about when he was young and he wanted to be a Cub Scout, but he wasn't allowed to be. He was actually made fun of and forced out because he was a predator, and the Cub Scouts were made of prey.
I learned two things that day. One, I was never going to let anyone see that they got to me.
And two?
If the world's only going to see a fox as shifty and untrustworthy, there's no point in trying to be anything else.
But as I said, he's inspired by Judy, that you can be don't listen to what people or society tells you can or can't be. As a personal example, I always wanted to be an author. My first year of college, I went in as an English major. In my first creative writing class, the teacher said, if you haven't been published by now, you're never going to make it. And I was young and naive enough to believe it, and I immediately switched my majors to math. It wasn't until 20 years later that I actually, through the help of my cousin Craig, who was also a novelist, and the support of my mom, realized that yes, I could write a book, and I've written several books since. It goes back to the message in the movie: you don't let any one person or society tell you what you can or cannot be. Judy does not listen to everybody who tells her she can't be a police officer. She goes for her dream. She knows she can do it. And Nick learns from her that he can be a good person. He can be the person he wants to be. And then he ends up being her partner. So, the exciting news. There was a Disney investor meeting at the end of 2020 where they were announcing new TV shows for the Disney Channel, and there's going to be a new TV show for Zootopia. It's not going to be until 2022, but that's not that far away anymore. And it may not have Nick and Judy in it, but it will have characters from Zootopia and will include the incredible town that they created. There were 64 species created for that Zootopia, and each of the areas that are specially made for the animals. You have Tundra Town and the Safari Square and Little Rodentia. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for visiting. If you liked it, give us a big ears up and subscribe to the channel so we can give you some more videos to watch, videos and movies to watch, and hopefully inspire you to do like the movie says. Try everything.
When I was a kid, I thought Zootopia was this perfect place where everyone got along and anyone could be anything. Turns out, real life's a little bit more complicated than a slogan on a bumper sticker. Real life is messy. We all have limitations. We all make mistakes, which means, hey, glass half full, we all have a lot in common. And the more we try to understand one another, the more exceptional each of us will be. But we have to try. So no matter what type of animal you are, from the biggest elephant to our first fox. I implore you, try. Try to make the world a better place. Look inside yourself and recognize that change starts with you. It starts with me. It starts with all of us.